Hey! Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Vidane TV. Wednesday night means we're here with the FATHEADZ Cup Series here for the Carolina Heat 225. Great to have you here with us over on the Facebook page, the YouTube page. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Let your friends know that you're watching this little ditty thing called an iRacing and trying to entertain the masses as we always do here. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. in the booth this evening, and always a pleasure to work alongside this man, Kevin England. Hey, Kevin, how are we doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. Paul, doing great.
We got just wrapped up with qualifier. You can see Trey the Wortman Jr. on the pole here, and that'll actually come right back to you once we take the green flag. The timing and scoring doesn't quite work well with us here as we're on the grid, but you can see everybody down on the front stretch getting ready to line them up and get going for some racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And great to have us in here tonight. We know there's a lot of stuff going on here in the iRacing world, in the virtual racing world, with the iRacing Pro Invitational over on Bristol Dirt. Got to check out a couple of laps of that coverage over on FS1. Pretty cool little deal, Kevin. You and I talked before we came on the air here. It's absolutely astounding to me that that iRacing, that sim racing, has made it to primetime TV.
Yeah, and I think the future is bright for esports for NASCAR. There's live racing on the web every night, literally, as we also contributed to that. And I just think it's exciting because there's nothing like watching a live race. You have no idea what's going to happen, and these races, well, they have all the dynamics of any real race that you see running at your local Saturday night speedway, and you could watch it 5 nights, 6 nights, 7 nights a week.
That's right. During the pandemic time, we got started actually a year ago this week. The March 28th was our very first broadcast last year during the pandemic time with the East Coast Winter League, the modified series there at Stafford Motor Speedway put on by Dylan Kopeck. And we were ramping up races 6, 7 nights a week, double nights, many weeks throughout the pandemic. And well, it seems like everything is starting to kind of sort of level out, so that's definitely good news. Everybody's starting to take the healthy alternative here, and well, the weather's starting to warm up, and the racetracks are opening up, and people are getting out to the real racetracks, working on the real race cars. So that is absolutely good news. But it kind of puts the sim racing not necessarily on the back burner, but we are getting into the little bit of a lighter schedule, running Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday here tonight. We do have some nights of the week available here at Vidane TV for broadcast to jump on board with your league. Just kind of in the middle of moving studios at this point, but we should have that all squared away by the end of this week. So lots of big things happening here with Vidane TV. Lots of big things happening with Vidane in general as a brand. And man, we've been doing this TV deal for about a year. Kevin, I think you've been back with us for 3 or 4 months now. I'm excited. We got big things coming.
Yeah, there's so much activity going on as this sim racing community just continues to grow, and these drivers having a blast. And Charlotte Motor Speedway, what a great place for a race. Tim Wertman Jr. leads the field down with Preston Puryear. 2 is outside in that Geico number 13. These drivers, they're going to race tonight for 150 laps. And talking to some of the drivers beforehand, a slight change in the sim just with the update that are a little bit pushy here. The drivers have to be really careful in getting the car up off the corner because they don't want to brush the wall. You get damage here, that's going to be quite a detriment to your night. It's really a line sensitive. You need to hit your marks track, and 2 wins on the season. Tim Wertman Jr., he knows how to get it done. He's going to start from the pole here tonight as the pace car is going to pull off and leave him in control of the field as everybody after practice is anxious to get this thing going. And green flag drops. Field's going to head off to turn number 1.
And there you can see that timing and scoring link has finally corrected itself, and you'll be able to follow along with who's running where up at the top of your screen. And well, if you've got yourself a cell phone or a tablet on the side or even another monitor, you can punch in vidane.net/web timing, follow along at home, and it shows you exactly where your driver's running, where your teammate may be running, lap times, laps led, all that good stuff. And we can follow the action on the TV. Whoa, big wiggle there. Oh, big wreck for the number 47 of Alonso. huge wreck. A couple of cars involved here on lap number 1, Kevin. We're going to be pulling out that Kong beer bong very quickly this evening.
Yeah, Workman comes around and picks up the pace car and looks in the rearview mirror and says, "What the heck happened there?" As we saw the 13 take an abrupt left, go down to the infield, and we can bring you the replay and rewind the tape and figure out what caused that.
Yeah, a little bit of a wiggle we saw and a puff of smoke out of the 00, and it looked like it might have been one of those deals where you kind of react just a little bit too quick. We're going to take a look at the Kong beer bong instant replay here from the chopper view here, just to kind of take a peek and see exactly what went down. Focus in on that number 47 car, Alonzo King, running in that third position. You see he comes up just a little bit, doesn't make any contact with the 13, gets it squared away. And we backed it up just a little bit too much here because they're way in the middle of the backstretch. But you'll be able to see as they come into the corner here, the 00, he's going to start up high and he's going to work all the way down, try and get that deep apex down to the bottom of the racetrack. But on his way there, he just kind of loses the back end of the race car and kind of gets it a little puff of smoke. There you see it. Catches himself on the apron. The 47 tries to shoot up high to avoid him, and the 13 car was there. So unfortunately, definitely a big hit, big flip, and smashing into that outside wall for the 47 and a couple of other drivers there involved. There you can see the field kind of parting seas, if you will. But big time damage for this 47 car. There you can see looking like an open wheel modified. Couple of drivers down on the inside. There you see Preston Perrier in the 13 damaged already. I do believe these guys have one quick repair, so they're going to be able to come down pit road, get this thing hopefully reset, and come back out on track. But big wreck here on lap number 1 up front.
Yeah, and a good job for the 47 to get down off the track, get out of the racing groove. A lot of cars were still on throttle coming up out of turn number 4. You saw them go left, go right, and some of them I saw even went to pit road, which is good heads-up driving for them as they were able to get through. And, well, if they get a reset, that'd be good news for a couple of these drivers because there were some big hits there. Under caution here, lap number 1, and you talk about rewinding the tape. As Workman went into turn number 4, it's really customary to sail the car off to the high side and just roll down the banking, click the apex, and that allows you to drive off of turn number 4. In the case when he turned it down, maybe the car just had a little too much traction and then broke loose. It looked like the car just stepped out on him, and that little bit of smoke, boy, that can make you nervous in a hurry.
Absolutely, and especially when you're running up front like that, we're running close quarters. Just taking a look at the point standings here, the chase standings, as it were, and we're seeing who all is locked in. We've got Tim Wortman Jr., Caleb Levener, Preston Perrier, Ed Boyles Jr., Wade Palmer the fifth, and Kenny Coppola. Kenny dominating at Coda last week, or 2 weeks ago, rather. Very strong race for Coppola, and those are the 6 drivers that have already clinched a playoff berth. We've got one more race after this week. We've got Charlotte here tonight. Got to focus on the task at hand. Got to make sure that you hit all your marks, you mind all your P's and Q's, and you come home. If you haven't won yet, and you're in the top 16 or top 20, you want to make sure you get that victory, especially if you're somewhere 14th, 13th on back. Mike Miller, Alonzo King, who we saw just got wrecked out, John Tonney, Dave Douthwaite, Kalen Zemer actually tied for 16th right now, Charles Stevens, Ian Yeager, Tim Ingram, all within 20 points of that 16th position to try and get into the playoffs. But they've got this week here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Kevin, next week we're Watkins Glen.
Yeah, 2 completely different racetracks. Here it's about momentum and just keeping your car straight and hitting those marks, carrying as much speed as possible. Obviously, it's left to right at Watkins Glen. And, some drivers are going to look forward to this race because they detest road courses, and others, road course ringers, are going to absolutely love going into Watkins Glen. And I don't know, it's a love-hate relationship when you go up there to New York.
Absolutely, and the lights are off on the iRacing generic sedan pace car there, and we're lining them up 2x2, getting ready to go green flag racing once again. Do want to give a shout out to FATHEADZ Eyewear for sponsoring this series. Check them out over at FATHEADZ.com. That's FATHEADZ with a Z.com. And be sure you use the promo code SHOWTIME at the checkout. You get yourself 40% off. I actually ordered myself a pair of the Nitro glasses. I forget exactly what they are called, but pretty cool little deal. They've got the bright red, the kind of blackish red lenses, so it matches my bright red beard, and I got the transparent frame, so I don't get that raccoon suntan line when I wear my sunglasses every year at the racetrack. So really looking forward to the Stafford Speedway Spring Sizzler, so I can rock those things at the racetrack. And again, thanks to FATHEADZ for jumping on board, and we're pretty happy with that 40% code SHOWTIME, keyword SHOWTIME, at checkout for 40% off. But there goes the pace car. He's going to dip off. He's going to maybe check out FATHEADZ.com on his cell phone while he waits for the next caution. And there you can see Tim Wortman Jr. in that 00 get a fantastic jump. Already has 3 or 4 car lengths as they head into turn number 1.
Yeah, caught everybody else sleeping. Got 3 car lengths, as you said, into turn number 1. Kenny Copeland's going to run in his tire tracks. These drivers talked about aero sensitivity on these cars. When they go into the corner, they do not want to literally be tucked up underneath the spoiler of the car in front of them. They need the air on the front in order to help it to turn. And you'll see them fan out across. There are multiple grooves here, but there is one preferred groove, and it's going to be Tim Wortman Jr., who has the open line. Every time he goes in the corner, he's going to look in his rearview mirror, and if so, he's just going to run the line he wants as we're back under caution here. They come off of turn number 2, and everybody will just kind of back out of the throttle, and we'll check out the replay to see what's going on here on lap number 7.
Looks like the 9 of Matt Mackin involved here. We'll back up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay and take a look. It looks like a multi-incident caution here, so we'll see if we can kind of take a quick peek and find out what it was that put us here. But we'll take a look, and we're actually going to ride right behind here, kind of a drone footage cam, if you will, on the number 9 of Matt Mackin, the Hendrick Motorsports entry here. And you can see they cross the stripe here, and there you see the 27 car, I believe that is, kind of get out of shape, and the 10 car of Douthwaite trying to come up and just avoid that, but unfortunately Spotter didn't clear him. There you can see he takes out the other Hendrick Motorsports car of the 48. No, he doesn't. The 48 saves that. We're going to have to take a peek at that, but there you can see the 9 getting kind of passed around here in the back of the pack, getting a lot of damage from a few other cars here. Let's take a peek at that 48 car, see just how well of a save that was. Michael Miller here in the 48. He got tagged as the cars were coming around, and man, oh man, there you can see the contact between the 9 and the 10 car. Comes back up, clips his bumper just like that, spins him around. Fantastic driving there by Michael Miller, able to hold on to it. It does sound like the motor might be a little bit off. As he gets back up to speed here, you might want to come down pit road and take a peek at that, but definitely a really, really good heads-up save there for the 48.
Early race jitters, it appears, as these drivers just trying to find room on the racetrack. This is one of those places where you're bunched up for the first couple laps and then you tend to spread out, but everybody tries to get as much as they can on these restarts. And yep, sooner or later they just come together just like that. Looked like a nervous moment there that caused that, and we'll go back to green in just a couple laps.
Yeah, and that'll happen a lot of times in sim racing. A couple of quick little cautions here. It's 150 laps, 141 to go here currently with 9 to go. Gives the drivers kind of an opportunity to think about their game plan, what they're going to be doing for the next for the duration of the race. So it does take time usually to get everything kind of pointed in the right direction, but once we get there, we'll get there. And we've seen some fantastic racing out of these Fathead Cup Series guys here on Wednesday nights on Verdane TV.
Douthwaite, Pure Year, Jimmy Abster all taking the opportunity here to go to pit road, get some of that damage fixed up as we're under caution number 2. Quite a few cars in that, 8, 9 by my count. It was one of those incidents that started and then the other cars just had no place to go and made incidental contact or pretty heavy contact. And, well, we'll rack them up and get them started again. This is the way it goes sometimes. And out front, it continues to be Wortman. He was getting a lot of pressure right as that caution came from Kenny Coppola. We'll have to see if he can snooker him again on this restart.
Yeah, and the guy in third place, Chris Spear, had a great seat for that battle. Take a look at the paint scheme here on the number 3. That's fresh paint there. The Tyrant Militia number 3 Camaro. Pretty good looking paint scheme. That was just debuted this week. And there you can see the number 7 car right behind him, Spear Designs. Or Chris Spear, rather, from Harpoon Designs. Ha! And now I get the connection. Spear, Harpoon. I just had a ready to rumble throwback. So that's a pretty cool looking paint scheme there, and it's one of those things. Chris Spear, it doesn't necessarily want to pull over or anything, but he definitely does want to take a look at the paint scheme that he put on, and he doesn't really necessarily want to scratch the paint either.
Yes, there's several of these drivers still on pit road taking advantage of getting the car fixed. We've saw, as I said, Douthwaite, Mackin, Kerr, Tuddy, Stevens per year. Absher, as we mentioned, Nolan, King, all of them taking the opportunity to go get service, get their cars fixed, and come back to the back of the pack. Everybody kind of lined up getting ready, 10 laps in of 150. And I think this time we'll get it right as we're getting set to come back to the restart.
Just taking a look, you can see status quo up front. Still Tim Wortman Jr., Kenny Capola up front. We've got 24 drivers still on the lead lap. Last one being Jimmy Absher in the number 18. Joshua Nolan currently 2 laps down. Alonzo King, after that massive wreck, still on pit road trying to get that thing repaired. He is currently 9 laps down. Looks like Wayne Bowen and Tommy Kelly no longer in this race. So 26 cars still on track, 24 of them on the lead lap, and we're getting ready to do green flag racing, stacking them up 2 by 2 up behind that iRacing sedan, hitting the backstretch, giving these drivers again the opportunity to pull the virtual belts tight and get a quick sip of ice cold Coca-Cola or whatever they may or may not be drinking. And well, depending on the driver, they might be doing a quick rip on the Kong beer bong. So we got to check those out at kong.twodrunkatnet.net. Be sure to be the life of the party. And I picked one of those up a few weekends ago, and I got to tell you, very, very cool little party favor. It makes a lot of beer go down very, very quickly. So Vidane TV always reminds you to drink responsibly, but definitely have fun while you're doing it here. And very proud and happy to have those guys on board as an affiliate sponsor here at Vidane TV, as well as Two Drunk Esports.
Pace car goes behind the pit wall. Driver's back on the throttle here as they pick it up and head off to the restart. Everybody clean here, going through the start-finish line as Wortman again jumps out front.
Very quickly, the top 5 gets into single file. Shot there. Everybody trying to give everybody else a good bit of room here. With the new updates that came out with iRacing last week or the week before, especially with last week being an off week, it may very well just be that these drivers aren't quite used to the subtle changes that iRacing did to these NASCAR Cup cars. So it might take just a few laps for everybody to get kind of warmed up to the cars, to the tracks, and everything else. And once we see that, once we see everybody kind of comfortable with the racetrack, that's when we're going to start seeing guys do some big-time racing against each other. As you can see, most of the field here pretty much single file, looking like a couple of side-by-side battles throughout. But this may very well be the run we were looking for. As we're looking at a side-by-side kind of a four-way battle here between the 27 and 33. 33 gets a little bit of a nudge from the 19, and they're playing a little bit of bumper car action.
Clean up, and they were able to clean it up. That was a tedious moment there as they were banging off of each other, the two able to ascend and pull off that position. Good heads-up driving for Patrick McClendon to not get nervous with the 19 in a difficult spot. Trevor Absher able to hold on to that car. Out front, Tim Wortman leads by 2 laps. About a lap and a half ago, Kenny Coppola got down underneath them coming through 3 and 4. Gave him a challenge, but it continues to be Wortman Jr. out front. He's got a slow car up in front of him in the number 96 of Joshua Nolan.
Oh, 24 around.
Yeah, car goes around the 24. Is he going to collect it? Looks like he saved it. Everybody able to take evasive action, but they are going to see the yellow flag on the speedway one more time.
Beer Bong instant replay coming up once again here for the number 24 this time around, and we'll take a look here on the old instant replay, and we'll show it to you on the little bit of slow motion here. You saw a quick little blip there. It might have been a connection issue for the 24 that led up to the Wade Palmer the fifth machine here, but we'll see. He ran it up in the high side there. You can see the 15. Ryan Kling down low, and it looks like Kling just kind of comes up the racetrack and gets into the side of the 24, puts him up into the wall, and points him in the wrong direction, and just kind of keeps the momentum going as he hits the back quarter panel and gets him spun right on around there. You can see the 95 and the 48 getting on by, and you can see the 24. He is able to gather that thing up without hitting anything, so that's good news there. A little bit of scrapage on the outside wall, but no further damage there, so that's good news for the 24 machine.
Yeah, Palmer probably had no clue that was coming. When you're up high in the banking like that and a car comes across and catches you in your blind spot, you have no idea what's going on. So the fact that he got tagged, went up into the fence, and then was able to just wrestle the car back and keep it off the wall any further, good driving by that driver. And how about the evasive action by the number 95, Ken Erland? He just hooked the left and somehow missed that whole thing. It could have been a lot bigger than we thought it would be as drivers heading to pit road.
Yeah, some drivers coming down to get fuel and tires, other drivers coming down to get some repairs made to the race cars, and just taking a peek here. Looks like I believe that's going to be Sean Stamper. Nope, Sean's on pit road. Should be trying to take a look and see who that wave by car was, but timing and scoring keeps changing it up on me. So driver coming back around. It looks like we're going to have 24 cars back on the lead lap. And one thing I like about this league, Kevin, is taking a look at the Facebook chat. We've actually got a couple of drivers watching the race on their phones, kind of tucked aside on their desk, and they check in with the chat under caution. So pretty cool little deal. I wouldn't say it's the safest thing to do, because I've definitely never done any texting and driving or texting and racing, real life or simulated, but it's pretty cool to have the driver input. So if any drivers are out there and any fans out there wanted to say hello or what's going on to their favorite driver here, they've actually got the opportunity to do so over on Facebook. And well, hey, while you're there, give us a like, give us a subscribe over there on the YouTube, and most importantly, give us a share and let your friends and family know that you're watching iRacing here on FATHEADZ TV. Currently running 3 nights a week. Sunday nights we've got the show or Sim Racing Unleashed. Those guys run the Cup Series cars, and they run a kind of a little bit of a mixed-up Cup Series schedule. Monday night, we're doing doubleheaders with Tim's Corner Live, a talk show with Maritime Canada. Tim Terry is the host, Dylan Langile and Brent Roy usually jumping on, as well as Denver. So pretty cool deal on Monday nights. And then the Sim 500 Trans Service Cup Series runs Monday night as well, 9 o'clock. Wednesday night, you can see right here the Fatheads Cup Series, as well as usually we have the Tim's Corner Motorsports Weekly Racing Series this current season running at Nashville Fairgrounds, but they are off this evening. They ran a doubleheader last week to kind of make up for it, so just running the solo here, Fatheads Cup Series, and there's a couple of cautions earlier on here. 3 working lap 18 here, our third caution of the night. A couple of multi-car incidents, maybe a single car spin or 2, but kind of getting the kinks worked out here, Kevin. Trying to get these drivers up to par just a little bit. There you can see a good shot of Tim Wortman Jr. leading, led every lap so far here. And he's got Kenny Coppola right behind him, Chris Spear in that third spot as well.
Fumont's tracks to about 37 laps. We're working lap number 18, so some of these drivers are about halfway through their fuel run, depending on how they're saving under these cautions. But we've seen some of these drivers, maybe some from the back, duck in, fill in, and they can run farther. If we get a green flag stretch, it's going to change the complexion of the race.
Absolutely, and there you can see the lights are off on that pace car, so we're getting ready to double them up. Well, we're already doubled up. 2x2 all the way throughout the field. Wortman, Coppola, Spear, Boyles, and Palmer the fourth. The current top 5, Ryan Kling, Caleb Levener, Ken Ellert, Michael Miller, and Ian Yeager in the 27 car, rounding out the top 10 so far. And ready to get some racing here. You can see the 8-ball whiskey number double aught out front. He's going to try and get another good clean restart. Good restarts all night long. He's had plenty of practice. 3 restarts here so far tonight, and uh, leading the points with multiple wins already locked in to the championship playoffs here. Really looking forward to the 16-car playoffs here with these guys, Kevin, because like we said, we've got Charlotte tonight. We've got Watkins Glen, easy enough for me to say, next week to try and get one more driver kind of locked in rather, to the playoffs. And then we go championship racing, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I believe this is going to be the first playoff series that we watch all the way through here on Renee TV.
Yeah, and some of these drivers have next week circled as they just love road courses. Some of them practice and practice and practice, or just have a knack for it. And you could find a surprise winner next week is getting ready to go back into race condition. Wortman kicks it off again, coming off with a good start to 3 to the outside. It is Kenny Coppola trying to make the run. He's not going to be able to get alongside going into the corner. He's going to tuck down in, coming to the back straightaway as they line off and hit up lap number 20 in the books. Wortman in the 8ballwhiskey.com Camaro leads him into turn number 3.
Top 4 single file. There you can see Ed Boyle Jr. there on the 88 FATHEADZ eyewear machine, trying to take a peek on the high side, seeing if he can maybe get around Chris Spear in the 7 car. George is trying to get some clean air on there as well. A lot of different lines, just like we saw at Atlanta here Monday night. Caution comes out once again. Ooh, multi-car, big wreck this time through. This is a big one. This is one of those ones that might thin out the herd here, so to speak, Kevin.
Yeah, we saw the 20 get a piece of that, the 27, maybe the 33. Maybe Tim Ingram had a piece of that. We'll come back to the replay and we'll figure out what happened over there.
Yeah, this is one of those replays we're going to have to take a peek from the blimp because there was a lot going on, and it looks like it was another incident. As we can see here, we're taking a look at Ian Yeager and the 27, focusing in here, the black and blue car with the red numbers on the roof. And I believe as they come into turn number 3, they get side by side. Pardon me. Gets side by side and gets a little bit on the loose side. Oh, he actually drifts up into the wall, tries to correct it, comes back down, pancakes that driver, comes back up, pancakes the wall, and he almost has it saved. It looks like he was going to try and maybe get down pit road, but he holds on to it. They cross the stripe, or they come up to the start-finish line, and a couple of drivers just trying to make room. And, well, there you can see a completely other incident that happens out in front of this. See if we can take a look. The 95 appears to be involved here, and the 2, the 10, the 20. So following the absolute incorrect incident here. So we'll back this up one more time, and again we'll take a look at it from the blimp so we can see where it was. There you can see contact up front, and the 2 car kind of comes through. I'm not seeing this correctly.
Yeah, up front. Look where the 2 is.
There you can see big wreck just blocking the entire racing groove all the way through. Lots of cars involved here. Just a whole yard sale of cars. There you see the black smoke coming out of the 95. The 2 going to be on pit road there. Big damage for a lot of these cars.
Hearing some pit side chatter that maybe somebody had a steering wheel problem that could have led to that incident.
And that's one of the things like real life where it could be in simulation, but it could be in real life as well. I've had many I've had many instances where I've had some hardware failures where the steering wheel, maybe comes loose or it comes unplugged or anything like that. Like there you can see the 48 is the car that's up in the wall. There you can see Michael Miller. So we're going to back him up just a bit, and it's tough to see exactly where all this started, but yeah, with the sim racing wheels, there's a lot of different things that could happen. We've had cats unplug cables, cats chew through cables, the wheel actually coming undone off of the desk. So if that happens, it's usually pretty tough to come back from. But there you can see the instance. The 95 bounces off the wall, gets into the, I believe, the 12. And that actually gets the 48 stuck in the wall. And then calamity ensues after that. You can see all the smoke and all the cars coming through. So Tough break. A lot of good cars taken out here, and it looks like we've actually got quite a few cars on pit road, still trying to get some of that damage worked out.
Yeah, I've been there and done that in my 20 plus years of racing. I've pulled the wheel off the desk, broken steering wheels, had wheels go bad, all of that stuff. I think ultimately you could find that incident started with the 95. The second incident that we were tracing came off of turn number 4, got up high, banged the wall, came down, side slapped the 12. The two of them went sideways, and then it was just on from there. Also saw some contact right in front of him between the 15 and the 5. So these guys have been elbows up tonight racing here at Charlotte. Not something you see that's too typical for this Fathead series, but yeah, tonight it's been short track brutal.
Yeah, that'll happen every time. Every now and again, you take a week off and you kind of lose focus a little bit, and you figure, it's Charlotte. It's a mile and a half, a cookie cutter track. Don't really need to practice, so it might just be a little bit of ring rust for some of these drivers. But man, Kevin, you made mention you've been doing this 20 years. I've been doing this 15. Yeah, there might be drivers in this field that are actually older than our sim racing careers.
Uh, yeah, I've talked about this before. Tim Workman Jr., his father, Tim Workman, started North American Simulation Series, the league that I raced in back in the late 90s. And I know Tim very well. And I made introduction to Tim Workman Jr. saying, hey, are you related? And his father remembers me. So I do feel old. It's like watching second generation drivers race here when I see Tim out there. So yeah, there's so many names. We were talking earlier that I pulled up a template from 2010 and rattled off a couple names, and those people are still racing. That's one of the cool things about sim racing is it's a community. You know, these guys, I won't say that I'm too familiar with this league. Maybe they had a bad race tonight. Maybe this is just one of those anomalies, but they don't care. They're all friends. They're having a blast. They'll be back next week to run Watkins Glen. What better way to spend your time than go out and race with your buddies?
Absolutely, there is definitely a level of frustration with these drivers, knowing that they're here on ATV, they want to put on a good show, and they had a rough race in Martinsville a few weeks back, and you could tell the drivers were frustrated. They knew that they could do better, they knew they could perform better, and that's absolutely in the back of these drivers' minds right now. They want to perform, they want to entertain the masses here on Verdane TV, but they also want to remain competitive as we get the green flag once again. Tim Workman Jr., another fantastic start. There you can see the 3-car kind of tucks in behind his tire tracks, and Chris Beer's actually going to try and take a shot down low, see if he can maybe gather up that second position.
Single file down the backstretch, and make no mistake about it, some of these races that get off to a bumpy start end up being some of the best races you'll see, and that's what I'm expecting we're going to see here. I'm looking at a couple of these drivers that have taken advantage of some of these incidents. The 33 of Tim Ingram started 20th. Colin Zimmer in the 22, the Pennzoil Ford paint scheme, he started in 21st. So those two drivers taking the opportunity to break into the top 10 early.
So you can see the 24 of Wade Palmer, the 5th. He had some rough going earlier on, currently running in the 8th position. James Kerr, the number 10 car, he was involved in an earlier wreck as well, running inside the top 10. Currently in 9th, and there you see Sean Stamper in the 21. About to get attacked there from the 18, losing that 10th position to Jimmy Absher in the 18. It looks like he's going to try and bring the 14 with him as well. Derek Cook coming on through, so he's going to move up to the left. Sean Stamper after that.
Change for the lead out front. Coppola was able to drive down into turn number 1, get alongside Workman. He was able to pull that position. Coming out of turn 2, Workman did the crossover, but unable to muster the momentum he needed in order to stay with him. And we have a new leader here on lap number 29, number 3 of last week's winner, Kenny Coppola out front.
Just an absolutely dominating performance last week at the Dakota track. One of the more difficult road races that we've seen these Cup cars on really all the way through. I'm really looking forward to the NASCAR Cup race there coming up here in a few weeks, but one of the main things we're seeing right now, clean air for the 3-car, really doing wonders He's got about the same distance between he and second place as Tim Horton did when he was up front leading this pack, and you can see definitely helping him being up out front.
Take a lap with the number 3 of your leader as he rolls around turns 3 and 4 high in the banking, using the drop off out of turn number 4 to come down to the straightaway. Crosses the line. He's going to sneak down a little bit to the second lane. It looks like the fastway is either the middle or the outside here tonight, as they're not down on that right line. At least Coppola is, and as he runs down, he's just trying to get smooth. He's not trying to put a lot of input into the wheel. As he looks back in the mirror coming up off the corner, he sees Wortman back there. They do check their mirrors every time they come off the corner just to see where the car is behind them. Once they get a comfortable zone, they're just focused out the windshield. They'll peek back every once in a while, but they're always checking their clearances. They want to try to avoid whatever bumps there are on the racetrack. There are some bumps down low here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As he rides along the fence, every time you see these drivers come up across that outside corner, they're going to drive down the banking, try to take advantage, and then squeeze as much slide off as they can coming off to the front straightaway or to the backstretch. As Coppola running some outstanding laps here. Wortman Jr. hangs in there for a second. He's under attack by Chris Spear. Spear looking low, 1/2 car length back, just looking for any mistake to see if he can get the opportunity to get up there and battle for the lead, as the top 4 have broken away just a bit over Trevor Absher in that 5th position, the number 19, about 10 car lengths back off of Ed Boyles Jr.
Working outside the, kind of the outside looking in there, you see the 24, Wade Palmer the 5th, has worked his way up to that 6th position, started 14th. Again, we made mention, had a little bit of an incident earlier on here this evening, but making the best of it. Currently running in the 6th position. Tim Ingram right behind him. He's got a mirror full of cars there. The 33 Verizon car running in 7th, and there you can see side by side behind him Wade Palmer the 4th rather, in that 5 machine, the National Guards or the Nation's Guards car. And the 22 of Colin Zemer, he's down low, side by side. Those drivers working for that 8th position, and there you can see behind them is the 10 car of James Kerr and the 18 of Jimmy Absher, 10th and 11th.
Car on the move is the 88 of Ed Boyles Jr. Went around for that 3rd position. Now is on the attack, trying to get underneath Wortman. He's to the quarter panel, drove up, took the air off the spoiler, was able to side draft. Now he's side by side as they come across the stripe. Ed Boyles Jr. on the charge. The Fatheads Eyewear, number 88, going to wrestle that 2nd position away and set his sights on your leader, Kenny Coppola.
Really making that bottom side work, and that's one of those things, Kevin, where it'll work for a couple of laps, but it's really difficult to hold that line for the entire racer for more than a handful of laps. It really eats up the tires, and like you made mention, a lot of bumps down there, so it'll upset the race car, and we'll actually see if we can maybe take an onboard look here with that number 88, just to see the wheel input. As he goes in, you'll see, well, now he's going to tuck in behind here, double zero, and make a liar out of me. But a lot of times when these drivers are racing down low, lots of wheel input, lots of back and forth. These drivers really have to hold on to the outside, and it definitely adds up. So a lot of the drivers elect to run kind of that high middle groove. But you can definitely make that bottom side work if you're trying to make a pass and he's got the momentum. And you can see he's got a little bit of a run. He's going to peak down low, not quite there. Definitely seems like he's got just a little bit more speed than Wortman Jr., but you can see really tough to kind of get around him here, because Wortman Jr. doing a great job holding on to that top side. You can hear him kind of burp the throttle as they come out of turn number 2, so he doesn't get into the back bumper of it. Really respectful thing to do here in the iRacing sim racing, especially if you do have a car that's a little bit quicker. You never really want to get into the back bumper of the guy, even if you are quicker. You can see peeking the nose down through as they cross the stripe. He's going to get up to at least the door here in turn number 1.
Yeah, thought he had him cleared a little bit ago, but he didn't get the call from the spotter to move up. That allowed Wortman to drive along the outside and regain that position, but he has repaid the favor, come back to that 2nd spot. This time he is successfully slid up in front of the double zero. Double zero still hunting the position, but I suspect Once he gets a bit of a breather, Boyles Jr. will drive up and see if he can get to the number 3. Coppola out front. He's going to move past a crippled slow car in the number 9 of Matt Macklin. That car all taped up as the TV panel just flopping in the breeze there. He comes up to the 41 of John Tutty. John pulls low, is going to yield to the leader as Coppola cleanly gets around, and he's got clear racetrack right now. He's set sail, looks really strong here as we work lap number 40.
Taking that new paint scheme, getting some TV time. Kenny Coppola there in the number 3 Tyrant Militia Camaro there. Last week's winner, again, we made mention that, or 2 weeks ago, winner at the Dakota track, and we really can't do that victory justice. I think we ended up with maybe 2-3 cars on the lead lap. Just a fantastic drive for Kenny Coppola, and heading into a road course next week, leading here on the Cookie Cutter Oval at the intermediate 1.5 mile track. That's what you need. That's what Kenny Coppola wants, is that confidence heading into the playoffs. If he can come home with a good finish here and a good finish next week, he's going to be rolling on cloud 9 as they head into that the championship playoff series.
Yeah, nothing gives you more confidence than 2 wins in a row, and to come from a road course to a large super speedway shows that you're formidable to the rest of the field. As we look back through, everybody just kind of in conveyor belt mode right now. Everybody's settled in, finding their own, and this is where you start to race the racetrack. You have nobody in front of you, you have nobody behind you, and you're really focused on lap times at this point as they listen to the spotters call out their times, trying to see if they can move up, move down, find better entries. Every inch of grip, trying to find speed. That's what the drivers are doing at this stage of the race.
Kenny Coppola out front, just about a second lead over Ed Boyles Jr., the number 88, the Fatheads Eyewear paint scheme there. Good paint scheme. Came out with those Fatheads announcing the series sponsorship here. Ed Boyles wanted to kind of show his support to the league, and took the old... it is really cool with these guys. What they do here in the Fatheads Cup Series is they take the... they all run the Cup teams, so you'll see the Richard Childress teams, the Hendrick Motorsports, the Spire Motorsports, Penske Motorsports. So it's really easy to see who's working with who. There you can see the 20 car up on the track. The 88 is actually going to come down pit road. Green flag pit stop here on a lap number 45 as he crosses the stripe. This, I think, is going to force the issue for a lot of drivers because you can see Kenny Coppola in the 3 already on pit road. These guys may have the advantage here. We're just seeing the big time drop off with the tires. So these guys are going to come out pit road here with fresh tires and really be able to put a hurt on the field. You can see the lead handed over to the number 7 of Chris Spear, and he's going to run the outside. He's going to take at least one more lap. There you can see the 19 Tracker Boats car. He's going to come down and get service. That's Trevor Apshner getting service to his race car.
So drivers started to pit. We see the 3 went through, the 22 went through, and the question is, when will Wortman Jr. drop in there? And you have Chris Spear out front. We talked about the dynamic of some of those drivers who were able to pit earlier and fill their tanks. They're going to be on different strategies, and I suspect that this is really going to shake the field up.
Absolutely. There you see Chris Spear giving up the lead. Back over to Tim Wortman Jr. He's going to come down and get service. Wortman's going to stay out for a couple of more laps. And then we're actually taking a look here. Wade Palmer, the 5th, in the 24 car. He he pitted under one of those last cautions. He's 30 laps ago. James Kerr, the number 10, he came down 24 laps ago. Wade Palmer, the 4th, 23 laps ago. So everybody else here in the top 9, 10 cars still has maybe another 10, 15 laps or so that they can run on fuel before coming down. So definitely going to shake up the top 10 and shake up the running order for sure, as James Kerr is going to inherit the lead in the number 10 car.
Kerr going down the back straightaway in his pure farmland.com Ford, enters into turn number 3, just rolling the banking. As he looks out his front windshield, this is the time when he'll determine whether he's going to catch slower cars, some of those that were damaged, but he's also going to look in the rear window for some of those cars that have fresher tires. They'll be coming with a full head of steam. Right now he has Wade Palmer the fourth in his tire tracks coming in. Palmer looks like he's faster closing in. He's going to take a look here in turn number 3.
Yeah, we've seen this happen over the past couple of nights here on Verdane TV. We've been running at Atlanta Motor Speedway. There you can see 3 wide. Holy moly.
Under assault, the 88 goes by, the 3 trying to get by, making time. That was a hairy moment there, 3 wide off turn 4. Yeah, and just when we talked about how much speed, how much faster are these guys with fresh tires?
Yeah, they beat me before I could get the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what we saw here. Even Monday night with the Trans Service Cup Series for Sim 500, watching Josh Parker put on 4 fresh tires late in the run and just work all the way up into the top 5 towards the end of the race. And that's exactly how these drivers are feeling. They feel like Superman after they get 4 fresh field goods on there. So we got a battle for the lead. Wade Palmer the 4th. I keep doing that. Wade Palmer the 4th in the 5 car. Going to take a peek down low. Nothing there. He's going to back up just a little bit, fall in the tire tracks again of James Kerr in the number 10. Those old tires looking like it's starting to make that 5 car handle on the evil side. You can see he's already backed up 0.3 of a second to that 10 car, and kind of searching right now, looking to see if he can find some grip. Really wants to come down pit road and get 4 fresh tires like everybody else has, but he's still got about 10 or 15 laps before he has to come down for fuel at least. There you can see he's going to take another shot at the lead heading into turn number 3, gets up to about the door, and that's where the run seems to stall out. That's where it stalled out the past couple of times. Okay, so he's got a little bit more momentum this time as they cross the stripe. Give the lead to the number 10 car, but they're still side by side heading into turn number 1.
5 moves up a little bit, trying to get entry into the corner. Cars squeezed down some. The 10 didn't have a good 1 and 2 last time, but better this time. Looks like he's going to be able to get back out there for tenuous moments. You have to wonder if Palmer the 4th, possibly wearing that car out, just trying to get there, is, oh, that is so close. They saw Wortman come and moved up, gave him room, but Wortman Jr. squirts by in the 00 with fresh tires to come back to the lead lap. As if these guys are slicing and dicing here with the tire differences.
Tim Wortman Jr. putting himself back on the lead lap there in 9th place. And 9 cars currently on the lead lap with the current cycle of pit stops, and that 5 car is wearing out everything in those tires. I would bet those tires are going to be down to cords once he finally comes in and changes those things off. He wants a lap lead, he wants the bonus points, he wants the lead, he wants to get around that 10 car of James Kern. You can see he gets the momentum, he gets right up there in turn number 1. He's got a little bit further advantage. He's going to try and move up in front of him, doesn't quite have the room. There he is. Door bumper clear, nailed it that time. New leader, the number 5, Wade Palmer the 4th.
Yeah, I think he was bunched up in the seat just saying, please tell the spotter I'm coming, I'm coming.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
I didn't get.
What a great drive, and you can see that clean air doing wonders for the number 5 car. He's already able to put 2, maybe 0.3 of a second in behind or in between he and the number 10 car. And now the 10 car is going to do the same thing. He's going to try and search for different lines. Here's a couple of cars. There's Absher and Chris Spear, the 19 and the 7. They've got 4 fresh tires. Going to pass these guys like they're standing still. And you can see the 5 car kind of moves down, gives the preferred high line off to the 19. Going to get around no problem. There you can see Chris Spear is going to follow him around. And that's going to put 2 more cars on the lead lap. Gives us a grand total of 11. So that's it's one of those things. Caution really would need to come out now for this to work for Wade Palmer, James Kerr, Derek Cook. Looks like he just came down pit road to the 14, getting 4 fresh tires on that car. Preston Purrier now running in the 3rd position in the 13 car on the same pit strategy, the top 3 cars here. So it's one of those deals. Caution would really have to come out now before all of these drivers kind of come around and race their laps back and get it back the hard way, as it were. You can see Colin Ziemer in the 22. He's going to get a lap back driving around the number 5 car, and makes it look easy. The difference in 30-lap tires is just that.
As we look at when these drivers pitted lap 30, 34, 35 laps ago, Palmer the fourth pitted twice. Kerr pitted 3 times earlier. So we know that these are the drivers that topped off. And if they're on a 35 lap stint, and we know that they can go, what do we say, 37 laps fuel mileage with the setting they have, they're literally on the cusp of having to come to pit road.
Yeah, they definitely felt like they wanted to come down and get tires laps ago, but still two drivers that are staying out on the racetrack. Three drivers. Preston Courier backs up to the 5th spot. Ed Boyles Jr., Kenny Capola getting around there. You can see the 5 and the 10 both going to come down pit road. That's going to hand the lead over to Ed Boyles Jr. in the 88. So these drivers are going to come down the lap of 60. At least they know how long they can go, and they're going to make it work here. They're going to grab 4 fresh tires, get some gasoline added into those cars, and come back out. We'll see where they cycle through, but that's, again, is going to give the lead to Ed Boyles Jr. And there you see in the Fatheads Eyewear Cup car running in the first position. Kenny Capola about a second behind him. And there you can see he was running up towards the front a few laps ago. Both those drivers pitted 15 laps ago. And there you can see Preston Courier there, the 13 Geico ride. He pitted about 36 laps ago as well. He's still on that similar pit strategy there, but still staying out. Nope, he's going to come down. He's going to get him some tires. He's had enough, and maybe get that back bumper massaged out just a little bit of a crinkle there, a little bit of smoke there. Hopefully, no speeding penalty there. But there you can see Chris Spear in the 14 battling a little position there. The 14 a lap down, it looks like. But the Chris Spear machine is still in the 4th position, and it looks like the 19 of Trevor Apsher going to round out the top 5 after that round of pit stops. And Kevin, we're already halfway through the next set of pit stops.
Yeah, what we said is sometimes you get those gremlins out of the way, and then you start to run, these green flag runs out front. It is Ed Boyles Jr. in the 88 working lap number 62. Fast lap times right now for the 88. Smooth sailing, clean track in front of him. He's being chased down by the number 3. The question is, who's running faster lap times? 30.612 for Boyles and a 36.83 for Coppola. So the 3 there. It's interesting to me as you watch these drivers navigate this racetrack, Paul, the different lines they're choosing. You see the 3 right through the middle of the racetrack, where the 88 is rim riding right across the top.
Yeah, we've seen some of these drivers work the bottom side, but they're only really able to hold on to it for a couple of laps before it really starts to upset the car, and you alluded to those bumps down there as well. So it's really more comfortable around the middle and around the top, and it kind of cuts back on what the drivers are able to do, what they're able to choose from, but they're still able to differ it up and change it up a bit. There's always a lot of different strategies. You never want to do the same thing twice. You never want to run the same lap twice, because that's when people start to study it. That's when they can find out where your mistakes are, and where you're better, where you're slower, where you're quicker, and that's the kind of stuff that'll maybe make it so you don't make the playoffs. So you really want to make sure that you're consistent, but you want to be consistently inconsistent, I think, is what we're looking for.
A little too early with all this pit strategy going on to try and figure out if drivers could make it to the end after X number of stops. So you have to assume that as we get to halfway, that'll change. The 5 and the 10 have caught your leaders here, and like before, they're trying to slice their way back into that lead lap. You have to be really careful over there in turn number 2 as they come off. They're glued to each other. James Kerr and Wade Palmer the 4th. They're going to come back around as they're running right behind the Preston Courier car. The 13 Geico car damaged a little bit off the pace, running 16th, but out there soldiering on as the 88 of Boyles Jr. watched the 2 previous leaders drive away here with fresher tires.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of the things we saw Pedro Mojica do Monday night in the Sim 500 Trans Service Cup Series. He was really able to stay out for quite some time, like the 10 and the 5 car did here. And they did add on tires late in the run, and really seem to pay off for them. You can see these drivers currently running 11th and 12th, the last two drivers on the lead lap, but they've also got much fresher tires than anybody else on the track right now. So really going to be a good opportunity to make up time. They still have almost an entire lap to try and make up here under green, but still a really good opportunity to see what these cars are made of and see how far they can march up through the field.
Yeah, in the case of Mojica's race, he divided the race into different segments from everybody else, and saving their time on pit road paid dividends. Here, I think these drivers, given the green flag run, they're going to get to the end of their fuel run and jump in. And it's interesting to determine whether or not track position's being decided by that loop. You get off the racetrack, you get clean to the line, to your box, out of your box, off the apron, and back into the racetrack. That entire cycle time sometimes can mean a straightaway if you don't do it well, either advantage or disadvantage. And right now, as the leaders run, Workman running third. He's about 30, 40 car lengths back from Coppola, who is 20 car lengths behind Boyles Jr. And yeah, you just look at the way this goes, and now you're in a waiting game, just being patient to see how this strategy is going to play out and whether a caution is going to upset the apple cart here.
5 laps from halfway, still plenty of time to make things work and to watch these different scenarios kind of play out. Taking a look at the lap times, Tim Workman Jr. there running third, a little bit quicker, but not able to really make up too much time. He's about a tenth of a lap, or a tenth of a second quicker than Kenny Coppola and Ed Boyles Jr. Actually, almost similar lap time with Ed Boyles Jr. A 31.086 for the 88 and an 079 for Tim Workman in the 00. Kenny Coppola ran a 156. So very similar lap times up front. Doesn't look like we're really gaining or losing any ground here at this point. And these drivers we made mention all came down. Tim Workman came down a couple laps after the 88 and the 3, the first couple drivers to come down pit road. And well, we see that's pretty much kind of tells the story right there. The earlier you come down pit road, you might. It depends on where the cautions come out. If we go green, the 88 and the 3, they're going to end up having to come down. They're going to have to force their hand and come down early once again. But if we do get a caution, maybe we can see the 10 or the 5 of James Kirby and Palmer the 4th stay out, or maybe just take 2 tires. Or it's really tough to tell, but lots of different strategies going on here. And you can see pretty much all the way through the track. Still kind of a conveyor belt type track right now. Ed Boyles out front. There you can see Kenny Coppola trying to chase him down 1.2 seconds back. Tim Workman, we made mention, just about 4 seconds back there in third. And then we have to go another 6.5 seconds back to Chris Spear in the 7 car, currently running 4th. And there you can see crossing the stripe right there for lap number 74, Trevor Apsher in the number 19. He's 13 seconds behind the leaders, so pretty spread out field at this point. Everybody, like you made mention earlier, Kevin, these guys are just kind of racing the track. They don't have to worry too much about the track position right now. They just got to figure out where the track position is going to put them, where the different strategy is going to put them, and there you can see the 7 and the 5, or the 10 and the 5 rather, Kerr and Palmer the 4th. Still glued together, bumper to bumper, side by side, swapping positions, and currently running in the 7th and 8th positions respectively.
Yeah, every once in a while you look around the racetrack and there's just so much to watch. There's different battles going on, cars running fast, running slow. There was a gaggle of cars over on the back straightaway, but they kind of sorted that out. I just saw Colin Ziemer in the 22 drop low in turn number 4, the 9, able to squirt around the outside, backing his car damaged, but still somewhat making enough speed to cruise by the 22 with tire differences. As I see Cohen just kind of cruising down there on the bottom. I'm not sure if that car is fully up to speed.
There might be a little bit of internal damage there for the 22. You can see the 88 of Ed Boyles Jr. getting on by him to put him a lap down. He's going to bring the 3 car of Kenny Coppola with him. Goes around on the outside, and now the 88 is going to set his sights here on the 18 car, I believe. Nope, just kidding. The 9 car of Matt Mackin, already 2 laps down. That's going to put him a 3rd lap down, and then he's going to shoot after the number 20 car, Charles Stevens. Haven't talked about Stevens too much here. 22 laps down in that number 20 car, involved in one of those earlier incidents, but Ed Boyle's picking him up, putting him down right now. It looks like 9 cars currently on the lead lap. 18 of Jimmy Apsher going to be that final car.
So Tim Ingram head to pit road, drops from 13th or 14th. Right side tires went on, left side tires went on, and the crew was trying to fix a little bit of that damage. I think he's just going to opt to bite the bullet here, sitting there on pit road. 33 going in to get some damage fixed. We see the 20 on pit road, changing tires, left side tires going on. To visit Craftsman.com Toyota. That car down and away. Service is finished there. So we're getting to that spot where these drivers are going to come in and start cycling through pit stops. As we're hearing 20 call coming back to pit road. Well, watch how fast that car is with a fresh set of Goodyear tires.
We'll be able to watch it go through once again, and it's really what you need here, what the doctor ordered on these 1.5 mile tracks, Atlanta and Charlotte Motor Speedway. You put 4 tires on after running 30-40 laps, and you really do feel like Superman. The car handles much better, you're much faster, you're almost 0.2 of a second, or 2 seconds a lap rather, faster when you've got fresh tires. And there you can see the 3 car making himself a little bit bigger in the mirror of the 88. He's got that lead down to about 0.6 of a second, really working the track and trying to get around. And, well, we'll put that on the back burner right now because here they both come to pit road. The 88 and the 3 going to come down a little bit early again here for these drivers, but they're going to come down and put 4 fresh tires on and see how much more time they can make up. This is going to be big, I think. We've already got a huge lead for these 2 drivers, and I think if we stay green at this point, Kevin, these drivers are going to get a huge benefit for pitting early again.
88 drops in his box cleanly. Right side tires going on, the FATHEADZ eyewear Chevrolet, and then we'll come around and get left side service. As you said, Tim Wertman Jr. picks up the lead. The 88 of Boyles Jr. led 20 laps in that stint. So far, your top lap leader is 29 laps led so far for Wertman Jr., who started on the pole. Service is done for Boyles Jr. He's down and away. Chris Spear able to take over the top spot. He comes to number 1 on lap 81 as we're going to start cycling through, as we said, pit stops here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Just as the 88 left pit road, the double aught came down. Wortman Jr. getting 4 fresh tires and Sunoco race fuel in that machine, handing the lead over to Chris Spear, the number 7 machine. Both Wade Palmers, Wade Palmer the 5th and 2nd, Wade Palmer the 4th in 3rd. Pretty cool to see those guys working on the podium there. James Kerr in the 10. He's worked his way up to 4th position. Derek Cook in the 14 car, he is 5th, and Ed Boyles, after that pit stop, works his way back out into 6th place. He's going to be the first car a lap down, but we're going to be able to see him drive around the leaders pretty quickly. There you can see Chris Spear ducking down on pit road. He's going to get service. Going to give up that 12-second lead over Wade Palmer the 4th and come down and get some tires on that car. And there you can see Wade Palmer the 4th. He may or may not be coming down this time. We'll see as he comes out of turn number 4. Looks like he may stay out for at least one more lap. Gonna lead a lap there, get the bonus point, and put Wade Palmer the 4th at number 5 car up on the point.
Palmer the 4th becomes our 9th different leader here tonight as he takes over the top spot on lap 83, running on that different pit cycle like we said before. And when the 7 went to pit road, that helps a couple drivers. The 88 was scored 1 lap down. Now it Boyles Jr. running in that 5th position, 18 seconds in arrears to your leader. It is Wade Palmer the 4th in the lead. James Kerr in the 10, tracking right behind him, 2 seconds back thereabouts. 3rd place to Chris Spear, who's on pit road. Derek Cook, Boyles Jr., Coppola, and Wertman Jr. are the cars on your lead lap here. Look at all the cars 1 lap down. Just hoping that they can get to pit road, stay 1 lap down, and then get away from them.
For sure, and it's just the different pit cycles that these guys are going through. There's about plus or minus 20 or so laps, so it's one of those things where once we get this late in the pit cycle, we can see the top two drivers, Wade Palmer the fourth and Derek Cook. They have not come down pit road. They came down 26 laps ago for the 5, 30 laps ago for the 14. And there's a 13-second gap between first and second. Everybody else in behind these guys have come down for tires. Ed Boyles Jr. in the third position, 15 seconds back, and there you can see Kenny Coppola in fourth as well. Same pits 5 laps ago. Tim Wortman Jr. 4 laps ago. Chris Spear, he just came down pit road. So a lot of these drivers really able to keep the pace hot up front, and they're really able to keep a lot of these drivers a lap down. You can see the 48 rejoining the field there. That's going to be Mike Miller. He's a handful of laps down, 17 laps down, but still going to come out and put some laps on, possibly gain some positions towards the championship battle. But still up front, Wade Palmer the fourth, waiting to see how long he's going to keep that car out there before he comes down for another green flag pit stop.
So as the strategy plays out, it looks like Wade Palmer the fourth and the 14 of Derek Cook both on the same strategy, and then you have Boyles Jr., Coppola, Wortman Jr., and Spear, along with Trevor Apter in the other alternate pit strategy. As I just saw a car stopped, I thought, yeah, the 96 down there on the apron off of turn number 2, but is driving away.
Stay green flag. That's coming right from the 96 car. See if you can take a look, Josh Nolan. You can see, looks like there's some smoke coming out from that car. I can't tell if it's motor. I can't tell if it's tire, but definitely some smoke coming out from that car. Let's see if we can maybe take a listen here from the inside. And it's hard to tell because he's at pace speeds, but definitely some damage on that race car. So could be a flat tire, could possibly be some motor damage for that number 96 of Joshua Nolan.
You had 3,500 RPM there, so the motor was running, but certainly not in the shape that he wants. He's down here getting service right now, so hopefully he'll be able to get back into the hunt here. Joshua Nolan sitting on pit road here, lap 84. They did change tires, and now it looks like they are doing service to the vehicle, trying to get it straightened out, and he's down and away.
May very well have been a flat tire. There you can see Wade Palmer the fourth coming down pit road, and again, that's going to hand the lead and the second position back over to the 88 and the 3 on the same pit strategy. Ed Boyles Jr. back to the point. Kenny Coppola right in behind him, about a half a second back. And there you can see the 48 car struggling to hold on to the race car, but still holding on to it. Not a good night for Hendrick Motorsports. As you can see, Matt Mackin in the number 9 is going to go another lap down to the leader here. So you got one Hendrick Motorsports driver up in the front in the lead, and then a couple of other Hendrick Motorsports drivers caught a couple of laps down here. Just taking a look right now, timing and scoring. We got 6 cars on the lead lap, and there you can see 21 of Sean Stamford right into the yard on the leaders, getting ready to go a lap down. So that's going to give us 5 cars on the lead lap. And well, let's give a call to that 47 car, Kevin. We saw him involved in that lap 1 wreck, one of the biggest wrecks we've seen here in a very long time here on Main TV. Still 62 laps down, 61 laps down, but out there plugging along, and he's still going to try and make the best of it here tonight. Not a very fast car, not a very pretty car, but still a car nonetheless. Doing his best to try and make up every position that he can currently running.
Yes, these drivers are looking at point championship contention. They're going to stay out and get whatever they can out of this. As good number of the field's drivers at this point are at least 1 lap down back to the 6th position, as these strategies are playing havoc with our timing and scoring. Just still trying to stay with it as much as we can. The 88 back out front after leading 20 laps earlier took over here on lap number 90, working 2 laps in the lead. Again, Wortman Jr. so far is your lap leader, and Boyles Jr. right now, I can't say he's got a comfortable lead, only a half a second over the number 3.
Those 2 drivers have been glued to each other for the better part of this race. Boyles out front, Coppola second, Wortman Jr., Chris Spear in the 4th spot, Trevor Absher in the 5th, Wade Palmer the 5th in 6th, Preston Purrier in the 7th position, Colin Zemer 8th, Wade Palmer the 4th, 9th, and Jimmy Absher in the 10th position. There you saw the 21 of Sean Stamper. He's going to come down and get another service done on that race car. He's actually just coming off the pit road, got some service done. So give him the 12th position, right behind Derek Cook, 2 laps down. Ryan Klink 13th. Tim Ingram 14th. Dave Douthwaite in the 23. He's running 15th. Matt Mack and Joshua Nolan, Ian Yeager in the 18th position. And looks like there's the 10 car has retired from the event. He's currently scored 11 laps down. So a lot of drivers, that's a lot of damage and quite a few laps down, but still kind of playing along. Michael Miller, Wade Bowen, Charles Stevens, John Tuddy, Alonzo King, and Ken Eller in the 25th position. Still logging laps, but definitely a lot of damage to the race cars due to some earlier events here. So not really going to be able to come home with a victory or even a top 10, 15, but going to muscle along, see what they can learn, and take it to the track for next week.
What you see on the camera shot sometimes doesn't belay what it is actually going on here and there around the racetrack. It's not too different from sitting in the stands and watching a race on TV. I just saw the 48 come off of the 4th turn, and as he went through the quad oval, the car jumped out sideways, and we have to remember that some of these cars have a little bit of damage. Maybe the spoiler's not in the right place, fender's not giving the downforce, and they may look like they're riding around, but trust me, these drivers have their hands full just running on the ragged edge. And it's something that, as a broadcaster and a racer, you come to appreciate the skill of some of these drivers wrestling these cars around here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Absolutely. One thing I can really appreciate is the leader, Red Boyle Jr. right now. Look out in front of the windshield. You can see it from the passenger seat right now. 4 cars racing each other for position, and he wants to get around all of them to keep on going. And they're pretty much peppered in front of this group. Race to 15 is the first car here. That's Brian Kling. He's already 2 laps down. He's getting ready to go a 3rd lap down. And was going to shoot up the high side. Hoping the 15. Oh, the 15's going to slide right up in front of him. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, just said it, how hard it is to wrestle these cars. And you can see how the 15 just kind of lost the nose, drove up. The 88 had just complete awareness of what was going on. And this is one of those tedious moments as a leader. You're watching the cars in front of you. You know some of them have the evil handling characteristics, and you just want to get by cleanly, but you're really sit forward in the seat when you get alongside, say, the 13 here and some of these other drivers. You just want to get by cleanly.
You can see the 13 of Perrier. We saw it running up front. 23 of David Douthwaite getting to go another lap down. Haven't talked about him too much. Oh, he's going to split the middle, go right up on through. He's going to pass a whole bunch of cars. Ed Boyles Jr. doing some great driving in there. You see Trevor Absher right in front of him. The next car to go a lap down. That's the 5th place driver. And you can see there's some big time damage on the front nose of that number 19 car. But he's still plugging along. You can see he's looking like an SK modified there, the 19 Tracker Bolts at Bass Pro Shop car. But he's going to lose a lap here. Ed Boyles. Man, Ed is, you may as well call it SpaceX, because I think somebody stole the Falcon 9 rocket.
Yeah, now the 3 who's running in second probably had some advantage of catching that, but he's looking at him running almost 3 wide as he gets to that gaggle of cars. He's got no place to go right now. Coppola is sitting there behind the 20, behind the 15, wobbling all over the place. Touches the apron, he's going to duck down underneath. Hopefully he knows he's there. Oh, wow, what a tedious moment for the 3.
A lot of rough handling race cars. These cars are a handful when they're in one piece, and we can see a lot of these guys struggling with some earlier incidents. Not all these cars are racing at 100%. A lot of them are handling very poorly with the damage that they've got, so it's really a handful just to try and hold on to these race cars, and they're doing a great job trying to. You don't want to just pull over, because you're still in a race, and that's kind of the point of racing. But you also don't want to really affect the outcome of somebody else's race by maybe over-driving the car that you know isn't handling very well. So kudos to those guys that losing a lap here, but man, it seems like Ed Boyles Jr. was really able to get through that pack a whole lot quicker. That lead is now 3.2 seconds over Kenny Coppola.
Yeah, and if you come back to that Kling car, I've been watching that number 15 for a number of laps leading up to the leaders approaching. And that car seems really loose. As he goes into the corner, the tires are wagging in the back, and it's just a handful. And when you have a loose car, all the racetrack you can get pretty hard to see your leaders come up and draw alongside and just hold your line when a car is that loose.
And there you can see the 88 just keeps picking them up and putting them down, gets around his teammate there in the 48, puts him one more lap down, and you can see that gets around the 27 car, no fuss, no muss, and have a little bit of an open racetrack there before you can see, I believe that was the 13 again of Preston Courier. So these guys are just really kind of struggling with the race cars. It's hard to tell. I don't think the whole field's struggling. I think Ed Boyles just really nailed the setup here tonight, and really seems to be on top of the pit strategy. So it's going to take something to behold to try and get around this 88 car.
Yeah, we have to keep in mind that there's a couple cars, specifically the 5 of Wade Palmer the fourth and the 14 of Derek Cook, on alternate strategies. And while they might be scored a lap down, when these top group of cars, Boyles, couple of Wortman Jr. and Spear, go to pit road, that's going to cycle them back out front and into the lead group here. But right now, you're right. Ed Boyles looks like he's on cruise control. He picked up the lead here on lap 91, but working lap 108. And he's got a comfortable margin and clean racetrack. That's all you can ask for when you're the leader.
Absolutely, and already locked in to the playoffs. So just got out there for a Wednesday evening drive, just picking them on down and putting down laps, and just kind of testing out for some of the tracks later on here in the championship. You can see that a lot of different mixes in that championship, the playoff championship there. So, the championship race itself is at Texas, kind of a similar racetrack here to Charlotte Motor Speedway, a little bit faster, a little bit more open, but they drive about the same. It's a 1.5 mile, kind of a cookie cutter intermediate track. So if you're good here and you're good at the race that the championship 4 is going to be held at, really something to kind of put down in the notebook. So it's a good night here so far for the 88. That lead extended at 3.7 tenths of a second over Kenny Capola.
Yeah, and I have to believe that you look back at a couple of these other drivers like Wortman Jr., he's 13 seconds off the lap. Chris Spears, 15 seconds off your leader at this point. Caution puts them right back in the game. And if you're that far back, you're really just kind of pacing yourself. You don't want to run the car into the ground trying to trace that time down. You're not going to get it. So at this point, some of these drivers, maybe they've got something else up their sleeve. But, I'll tell you, Boyle's just putting a whooping on them right now.
I'm actually kind of surprised, Kevin, that we don't see anybody trying short pit here. We've got less than 40 laps to go. These drivers currently running 30 or so laps on this set of tires up front. Ed Boyles Jr., Kenny Capola. So I guess that would be kind of stretching it with the last run of the race. So they may very well have timed it just perfectly with the pit stops. But I'm kind of surprised somebody hasn't tried to come down. Maybe one of these drivers that maybe trapped a lap down. Wade Palmer the 4th or the 5th, Trevor Apsher, Jimmy Apsher, Derek Kidd, Colin Feeler, all one lap down. Maybe take the risk, come down, get fresh tires, and try and race your way back onto the lead lap. You're going to get 20 laps or so of where you're much faster than these guys before they have to come back down and pit. But with less than 40 laps to go, it seems like the strategy is starting to kind of play out all the way throughout the field.
Yeah, and an interesting dynamic is while you have a lot of drivers that are dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, 6 dozen laps down, they're still out on the racetrack. You look at Alonzo King in the 47, the butt kicker Camaro, coming off of turn number 2, currently 62 laps down. But again, these drivers are out here to race, and they are damaged or, hopefully not in a way being respectful, being that far down. They're really not in the contest, but they're logging laps. To your point, they're here to race.
Absolutely, and Ed Boyles Jr. still making it look easy. Keeps running really good lap times. Last time by was a 31.145. About a tenth, 2/10 faster than anybody else on the racetrack. So really making those tires work for him. 34 laps ago he came down pit road. So getting ready to come down here once again. And you can see there's 35 laps to go. So it should be any time now.
34 laps since he last visited pit road. He goes around the 41 of John Tuddy. John holding the line down. Well, nope, he's not going to get there. Tucked in behind him. I think maybe he's going to pit or just got a little nervous there. But Boyles Jr. in turn 1. And I'm with you. I suspect he's going to duck in and go to pit road any moment now. He's coming around turn 2, and you see the 20 coming off the pit road. There's a really strange bump down there on the apron. You saw that 20 bounce through it as the 88 was going by. As your leader is coming to service, he's down on the apron. He's got his hand out the window, trying to get that car down. Make sure you don't pit. Locks up the left front, but gets to pit road speed as he gets to the line. And your leader pits, relinquishes the lead on lap number 116.
And there you see Kenny Coppola right behind him and the number 3 coming down doing the same thing. They made it 35 laps that run, and there's, without the green-white checker, there's going to be 34 laps in this final green flag run, so you know exactly what the car is going to do throughout the beginning, the middle, and the end of that run if we do, in fact, go green all the way around, and that's going to hand the lead over to Chris Spear, and currently still appears to be staying out on the racetrack, out on the backstretch right now. He's got a pretty commanding lead, a couple of lap cars right behind him. There you see the 27 in behind him, but still holding on to the lead, going to stay out for at least a couple more laps, and really, unless this caution comes out, it's pretty much in the hands of the 88 and the 3, depending on how those 2 pit stops come out and roll down and shake down, as it were. There you can see the 3 car coming back out on pit lane and jamming up through 1, 2, 3, 4 gears, and you'll be able to see he's a lap down currently, but he's going to be able to race right around the 7. Oh, the 7, Chris Spear gets up in that wall glue just a little bit. There you see the 27. Looks like he's got just a little bit of a run because the 7 had to slow down there, getting caught up in the wall. But Ed Boyles Jr. is actually in 3rd place right now. He didn't even lose a lap coming down to get those tires and that fuel. So it's going to be interesting to see this thing play out.
The 7's got to come to pit road. If the leaders went in and he's riding around there on old tires, he's given up advantage. And as we see it, pit crew knows he's going to get called to pit road. And you see Wade Palmer, the 4th, short pitted. You were talking about that. He was one of those drivers on the alternative strategy. The number 24 heads off of pit road after 4 tires and fuel. We'll see where that shakes out as he comes back up to speed over there on the back straightaway.
Chris Spear gives up the lead. He's going to come down to his pit stop. 4 fresh tires and some Sunoco race fuel. Wade Palmer of the 4th going to lead another couple of laps here as he takes up the lead. Came down at 29 laps ago, and right there you see it on your timing and scoring. Ed Boyles Jr. in the 88. He's going to run in that 2nd position. He's got Kenny Coppola. Kenny Coppola must have had a slow pit stop there. See if we can take a look. No, it might have been an on-track incident. It was actually a similar pit stops between the 88 and the 3. The 88 had a 14.6 and a 14.7 for the 3 crew, but there's a 6-second gap between between Kenny Coppola and Ed Boyles Jr. So didn't even take the entire pit road sequence to cycle these 2 drivers back up to the lead. There you can see the 22 of Colin Zemer getting ready to go a 2nd lap down. Zemer looks like, take a quick peek here, came down about 4 laps ago to get tires and fuel, but not quite the car not handling quite as it should be. So getting ready to go down a 2nd lap. You can see he pulls down and kind of flags the 88 out and around, and gentleman thing to do there for the 2 car.
5 takes his vehicle to service. That's going to cycle the 88 of Boyles Jr. back out into the lead. And I watched the pit stops for the 88 and the 3. To your point, they came off pretty cleanly, but the 3 had to come up and had 3 or 4 cars right in front of him. I'm wondering if that held him up. As your leader goes into turn number 1, he's looking at a couple slower cars right in front of him. as the 5 finished his service and came back right in front of your leader. The 96 pulls down, yields way, and we're working lap number 123 out of 150 laps. So this is ticking off. The question is, does he have enough fuel to get to the finish, and will a caution come out?
I think if we get to the regularly scheduled distance of 130 laps or 150 laps checked out, we should be in good shape in the 88 camp. If we do get that longer extended, the green light checker, gonna be tough to tell. We're not sure if that's been factored in to the strategy, to the math of the 88 or the 3 crew, but some of these other drivers that have come down kind of 3-4 laps later would definitely have just a little bit more fuel in those tanks. So give the advantage to the rest of the field right now. But I think if this thing goes green to lap 150, you can sign that check and hand that checkered flag over to Ed Boyles Jr. Just really a commanding lead, 7 seconds over Kenny Coppola, and then you have to go another 14.5 seconds. Tim Wortman Jr. running in the 3rd position, 21 seconds back from the leader. Chris Spear, the number 7 car, there you see him on screen getting around Alonzo King in the 47. He's running in 4th, and both Wade Palmer's kind of running nose to tail here, 5th and 6th. And you can see Preston Peria there in the Geico 13. He's had a solid recovery. He's back up in the top 10, currently running in 7th, all but 2 laps down. Jimmy Absher in the 18 Skittles ride. He's running in at the 8th position. Derek Cook led a couple of laps. You can see just coming off of pit road here, the 14 car running in 9th, and Colin Zemer rounding out the top 10. There you can see him on screen, the 22 car, 2 laps down to the leader of Ed Boyles Jr.
Yeah, for the 88, he's on cruise control right now, has a commanding lead. And the good news for him is if he does need to save fuel, he can ease off the gas, roll through the corner, and use some of that cushion. Still has a fast race car. I think even if the 3 got to him, he'd be able to hold him at bay. And right now, he's just praying as he comes through the smoke, and we're going to have a caution. How about that? That's going to change everything.
That was a close call for our leader, Ed Boyles Jr., and we're going to have to take a peek at that at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. You can see the 19 car involved. He had a good solid day there, and it's hard to tell what that other car is, but we'll pull it up on the replay and find out exactly what went down. And man, oh man, if you're going to have a wreck, it looks like the 15 and the 11 involved as well, and just looked like some side-by-side racing action between the 2 drivers, and you can take a peek at it here. 15 out front there, you can see the 19 Trevor Absher. Both drivers, Ryan Kling and Trevor Absher, 4 laps down. Coming up on driver number 11, Wayne Bowen. He is 21 laps down from an earlier incident, and just looks like the 15 tries to come up high, and unfortunately there's a car there. The spotter didn't clear him, so the 15's going to kind of topple around, spin around like a top up in a high groove, and the 19's going to come down, smash on the brakes, and brings that car to a complete stop there on the grass. And there you saw the leader sneak on by. I want to take one more quick just little look here just to see how close it was for the leader, the 88 car, because we definitely saw a lot of smoke. Actually, what are we doing here? We're going to take a look at the onboard.
Just go inside the car there, Paul, and watch the 88's decision process with all the smoke. How do you figure out where that car is going to be?
That is the race-winning move right there. That is intense. You can see there's the smoke. He sees the smoke. He sees the smoke. He doesn't see the car. Where's the car? There's the car. Oh no, here comes the car. Has to dip all the way down onto the grass with the left side of that race car, and comes back up, catches his breath, and man, oh man, that was tight for the driver, Ed Boyles Jr.
That was the anti-Days of Thunder moment, right? In Days of Thunder, they tell you to drive through the smoke. I know you can do it. In that case, the smoke told you where the car was. And he did a masterful job just kind of easing the car down. He could have easily panicked, went down into the grass, got the car sideways, and he just kind of cruised on by. Great driving. Well, as they say, this changes everything.
Absolutely, it does. A couple of drivers coming down to pit road, even though it's closed, it looks like the light was still on there, but a lot of damage on those cars. They're going to come down and try and get take advantage of the caution, try and get some damage repaired there, and you can see the 88 out front, and it appears Wade Palmer the fifth. Well, everybody's coming down pit road. This is going to be big. Ed Boyles Jr. appears to be the only driver. Nope, there we see Tim Wortman stayed out, and Kenny Coppola stayed out as well. We can see Wade Palmer the fifth. He is on pit road on the lead lap. Chris Spear, he's going to stay out. And then everybody else appears to be a lap or two down. So I don't know if we're going to get any wave buys or free passes here. But even if we did, we're only going to get about 6 cars on the lead lap with less than 20 laps to go. With one of these drivers, actually, taking a look here. No, I was right the first time. Ed Boyles Jr., the only driver that stayed out. This is going to be big, Kevin. 13 laps on the 88's tires.
I don't know how he's going to hold them off.
Everybody else came down. This is going to be interesting.
As they come around, the lights are still on. He could go to pit road. It's only going to relinquish him back to about 4th or 5th. And if I would do that, knowing everybody behind me has a fresh set of Goodyears, I would duck in right here and take my lumps. Maybe he's counting on a quick caution. Can't be out of tires. Nope, he's going to duck in and go get tires.
That's the best thing to do. The worst you're going to do is 5th place at this point. So that's a good call. You had a commanding lead. You didn't want to give it up, but I think that's definitely going to be the move to make. Come down, get 4 fresh tires. You don't even have to really technically put fuel in the car, but definitely get 4 fresh tires and be on the same playing field. So still going to be interesting. Going to see the Tim Wortman Jr., Kenny Coppola up front. And looks like Chris Spear and Wade Palmer the fifth in the top 4. Ed Boyles Jr. the last car on the lead lap in the 5th position.
Well, we said that caution would change everything, and that is about as big as a flip of the script as you're going to get as Boyles Jr. goes back into that 5th position and is going to have to race his way back through some fast cars. The 3, he's been fast all night long. It's going to be hard to get by, and they're good no quarter at the end of this race. Less than 20 to go. It's like a Saturday night special.
So lots of cars still on the lead lap. Tim Wortman Jr., Kenny Coppola, Chris Spear, Wade Palmer the 5th, Ed Boyles Jr. on the lead lap. Wade Palmer the 4th on the lap, all on his own, 1 lap down. And we get into the drivers that are 2 laps down. Derek Cook, Preston Courier, Colin Zemer, Jimmy Apsher, 3 laps down. Sean Stamper, Dave Douthwaite, 4 laps down. Ryan Kling, 7 laps down. Tim Ingram, Trevor Apsher, 8 laps down. Matt Mackin, 9 laps down. Ian Yeager and Joshua Nolan, and then 19 laps down. The 48 of Michael Miller, 11 car of Wade Bowen. He is 21 laps down. 24 laps down. Charles Stephen and Alonzo King, 62 laps down, still running. Gained a couple positions. He's running in the 23rd spot. And green flag is in the air. Tim Wortman Jr. gets the restart that we saw him get earlier on. Has a couple of car lengths now over Kenny Coppola in that number 3.
Yeah, a couple of updates. I saw the 15 try to catch the back of the pack. He got there faster than he thought he was going and had to dodge and probably clipped the car, went off to the apron. And how about the 88 starting back there in 5th, but way behind a bunch of these cars? One car down on the apron, and he get caught up, and he's going to get crashed. Oh,
that is heartbreaking.
This is a troublesome spot for him as he slides through the grass and comes to a stop.
Now, the good news is it wasn't a hard hit, and he does have an opportunity to come down pit road once again to get some service to that car. There's only 5 cars on the lead lap. Even with the wave by at this point, it will only give us a 6th car on that lead lap. But you saw some late racing, some hard racing. 3 wide in front of them here for the Kong Beer Bong instant replay, and focus in on that 88 car, and you can see the 18, the 24, and the 20 all multiple laps down in front of driver 88 there, and you can see everything looks good going into the corner there. You can see the 20 way up high. The 24 is going to try and stick his nose right up there in the middle, make it 3 wide as the 18 kind of clips the apron and comes up. The 24 tries to avoid and just gets into the wall, into the 20 car, and almost a 4-car synchronized spin there. And there you can see 88 hitting the jump there, getting all 4 tires off the ground, but not a hard hit. Definitely a frustrating hit, as you can see it's gets him kind of put up in the grass there. So we'll see what that does for the psyche. You can see already the 88 is going to come down pit road. He's going to grab 4 more tires and maybe bang out a little bit of dents. I'm sure the clearance, or the valence rather, didn't fare too well in that jump, but the top 4 drivers did still stay out. So I don't know. Depending, the 88's going to have to probably restart behind the lap traffic once again here. But at this point, it's still going to be interesting between these top 5 drivers.
Yeah, how does that work? I would assume if he was on the lead lap, that he'd be able to drive past the lapped cars.
Well, here's something interesting. The field just drove by him as he was on pit road. So Ed Boyles Jr. going to go down a lap here. Tough break for Ed Boyles, and we actually got him in the booth, or not in the booth, but we got some booth-to-car communication here. Ed, what's going on, man?
Well, I had a little technical error. It was telling me pit lane was closed, so I did not pit, and everybody else pitted, and then when I pitted, it black flagged me and put me at the back, so it was kind of a little bit of a disaster. And I got caught up in that little accident there, and it blew my motor, actually, so I'm out of the race.
That is a tough break. Ed Boyles Jr. blowing a motor out of the race. Just absolutely commanding lead, and late race caution pickled in with some more cautions here. That's a tough break, man. You hate to see that. We do see FATHEADZ on the quarter panel and on the hood of the car. Anybody else that you want to give a quick shout out to while we got you up here?
Oh, yeah, well, I'm in here. I just want to give a shout out to the sponsors. FATHEADZ Eyewear. Everyone go out, check them out, fatheadseyewear.com. That Showtime 40 discount, or discount Showtime. And, Simnut Racing Sims, Butt Kicker, Harpoon Designs, and Vidane TV for putting on this wonderful broadcast. I know tonight's a long one.
Yeah, long race here tonight. We thought you were going to come home with the victory, but definitely a tough break. And I can tell you that Showtime 40% off promo code works. I got mine in the mail a couple days ago. They look sharp. They don't really do anything for the ugly on my face, but at least the sun's out of my eyes, so it definitely works out really well, and I recommend anybody out there check out fatheadz.com, fatheadz with a Z, and take advantage of that promo code. But man, we hate to see you out of the race, but man, the door's open in the booth. If you want to come on up and watch the final couple laps up here with Kevin and myself.
Yeah, sure. I'd like to hang out here and listen to you guys. Just gonna let my teammates know where I'm gonna be for right now, and then I'll be back.
Very good. So their driver 88 getting caught up in that little bit of a debacle there. The kind of synchronized spinning with those 4 cars, couple of lap cars. And that didn't look like a big hit, Kevin. I mentioned that a couple of times. Unfortunately, blew the motor on the 88.
Yeah, that's got to be the ultimate in frustration and insult to injury. We were wondering why he didn't pit, and sometimes glitchy black flags happen, and wow, what a change of events. We could not have guessed that, but we're going to go back to racing here. The admins are kind of discussing what's going on here, and it looks like some penalty is being issued as they are going to come back one more time here and see if the lights go out as they cross the line, and they do. So we'll go back to green, lap 138, and what a story. Just unbelievable that the change of fortune for the 88 had the dominant car here tonight.
Absolutely. Just taking a quick look at the Facebook chat, we see Pete Woodrum out there hanging out in the Facebook world. Hope you're doing well, brother. I know you got some health issues going on, but good to see that you're watching along here on Vidane TV, and everybody else out there in social media land. Give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know you're watching iRacing here on Vidane TV. And man, we got some big stuff coming on. I can't even really drop hints because it would give away the secret. But lots of cool stuff coming up here on Vidane TV and the Vidane brand, and very, very happy to get into the racing season, as it were, the real racing season. One of the things we can do is the one quick little announcement. We can announce that Vidane TV is going to be the primary sponsor on the number 6 street stock at Stafford Motor Speedway from the Rent a Race Car stable. So got to thank Gary Spinato Jr., Paul Verricchio Jr., and the owners of Rent a Race Car for Teaming up with us once again, we got the championship night coming up here June 11th. We're going to have Richard Beasley and Jarrett Bolliard in the car, and we're going to have Verdane TV on one of those cars. So very exciting to have that go on. A little bit of sim racing, real racing crossover, but green flag is in the air. One of those restarts from the 00 of Tim Wortman Jr. does a great job, and there you can see the 3-car falls right in behind his tire tracks for the second spot.
Yeah, great jump, but Coppola is right there on his back bumper coming off the corner. He's trying to get the high line. Here he comes with the crossover. Wortman Jr. looked like he wanted to block there for a moment, but decided the high line is a better place to go as Coppola trying to find a lane by. And Wortman Jr. going to hold him at base. Wow, 3 just pounded the outside wall.
Well, caution flag comes out, so that's another tough break. Let's see, the 19's on pit road, the 88 is on pit road. Looks like Absher, big time, somebody stepped on the Skittles packet, it looks like. We'll have to pull them up on the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. And again, check those guys out, kong.2drunk.net. I picked one of those up a few weekends ago as well. They're an affiliate sponsor here with the network Verdane TV, as well as 2 Drunk Esports, and great to have them on board. It's essentially a hardened plastic koozie with a funnel, and you crack your cold beer, you pour your beer in it, and you do a beer bong, and it kind of tucks right into any cup holder that you've got. So pretty cool little farty favor. And you can see the looks like the 11 car grabs the wall there right off the screen on the left hand side. He collects the number 20, he collects the McDonald's 23, and well, there you see, he gets his teammate there, unfortunately, Joe Gibbs Racing. Actually, it looks like he gets all 3 members of Joe Gibbs Racing, the 20, the 18, and the 11. So that's a tough break, and you can see the 15 barely avoiding calamity with that 18 car. So tough break. It's going to put the 18 of Jimmy Absher's 2 laps down, possibly a 3rd lap down after throwing some duct tape on that car here for the final 10 laps.
Yeah, in the virtual world, Joe Gibbs just spent a lot of money. They're really lucky when the 18 came back across the racetrack that those 2 cars, especially the 96, didn't get a piece of that. As working caution number 7 on the evening here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And yep, talk about Stafford Motor Speedway. Some of these cars look like modifieds that would be running around there. The June 11th, I have that date circled. I think I'm coming to Connecticut.
Yeah, that's one of a couple of dates that I've got circled. We've got the Spring Scissors the last weekend of April, and that's going to be a big party. We usually hang out with the Rent a Race Car crew all weekend long, camp out, have some adult beverages after we're done working on the racetrack, and a lot of the NEPS drivers are going to be hanging out as well. Zane Farrell making the trip up from Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. He's a late model driver out there. He's coming up to hang out with the Casa Grandes, the Kopecs, and all the guys from the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing group and the East Coast Winter League. So big time party for the Spring Scissor coming up next month. And June 11th, really excited to have the Rent a Race Car Verdane Racing Championship night. That's going to be a party time weekend too, because the very next night, the SRX Series, Tony Stewart's and Ray Evernham's series debuts their very first race at Stafford Speedway on the 12th. And they did open up some more ticket sales for that, because we did ease up a little bit on the pandemic restrictions here in Connecticut. So very excited for that, and very excited to see what Beasley and Bolliard can do in real race cars. It's going to be the first time for the both of them, the first time that they're ever going to strap into a 5-point harness, and very cool opportunity to see both of the 2 of the 3 championship belts in the same place at the same time, which has been pretty cool. The past 3 seasons here at Verdane Racing, when we were still running the league, we did the championship belt from Pro-Am belts, and man, they just, I really want to make a championship belt for myself, because they did a fantastic job with those belts. But Ian Plash winning the original back in 2014, Jarrett Bolliard winning in 2020, wasn't able to capitalize or cash in his free ride in the street stock because of the pandemic restrictions. So we're running both of those drivers on the same night on June 11th, and man, I'm really looking forward to it.
The storied history of Stafford makes me want to come up there and just be there at least once to take that. I had never been to the track. As I'm watching Kenny Coppola. He went in for service. That's going to move him back to the 5th place position. Wade Palmer the 5th, Wade Palmer the 4th, running 4th and 5th right now. One of them gets the Lucky Dog. The candidate for Lucky Dog is a 14 of Derek Cook. If we get one more caution and that puts it back in the show, what a recovery for the 14 after that incident. Lap number 7 has been just trying to chase it down since the beginning of the race, and the 3 is able to go up and around all of the lap cars, tucked right back in with the leaders. I look at this, and they had 6 sets of tires, including the ones they started on, and that means that 3 has got a fresh set of Goodyears on that Camaro.
So that's going to be interesting to watch. We've seen what Kenny Capola can do on fresh tires, and you can take a look at the top 3. Tim Wortman Jr., Chris Spear, Wade Palmer the 5th. They all came down pit road 13 laps ago. Wade Palmer the 4th, he came down 6 laps ago, and Kenny Capola just came down. And those are your top 5 drivers on the lead lap, and you can see they are all going to start relatively up towards the front. Looks like the 33 is trying to find a spot. He's going to be on the outside there, and the 3 car is going to come up into that 5th position. So we got all the lead lap cars starting up front, no penalties this time, and we can see the lead lap cars behind them. Derek Cook, Preston Courier, Colin Zemer, Sean Stamper, David Douthwaite rounding out the top 10. Ryan Kling, Jimmy Absher, Tim Ingram, Ed Boyles Jr. Sitting on pit road 8 laps down after a blown motor, and Ian Yeager, the 15 drivers in the top 15. So here we go. 7 laps to go. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a drag race, and it's going to be fun to watch. Tim Wortman Jr. on the bottom, Chris Spear on the outside. Green flag in the air for what could be the final time. Great restart once again out of the double odd for Tim Wortman Jr. He's going to shoot down into turn number 1. He's got a 4-car length lead over Chris Spear in the number 7.
Yeah, Wortman surges out, and we were talking about a feature race. This is more like a heat race or less. The 3 stuck behind the 24 trying to make traction out of turn number 2. He's going to jump inside. He's going to come to the 4th position with the top 3 out and away. 1 car length separates your leader, 2nd, and 3rd as they charge off of turn number 4 to complete lap number 143, start lap 144, 150. It'll be a 5-lap shootout just about for these drivers. And it is Wortman Jr. out front with Spear on the chase coming off of turn number 2. 1 car length down. Can he track him down and make the pass?
Spear really likes that outside line that we saw. He got up in that wall glue a few laps ago and a couple of times throughout the evening. Really needs to be careful when he's running way up that high, but he's doing the best he can. He's trying to get a little bit of clean air. He's trying to essentially go where Wortman is not, but now he's got a mirror full of that 5-car. Wade Palmer the 4th. Closing in all the way up to the back bumper of the 7-car. And don't look now, here comes that 3 of Kenny Capola. Kenny Capola last race winner 2 weeks ago at the Coda track. A dominating win there, and he's run very well here, running essentially 1 and 2 side by side with Ed Boyles Jr. Unfortunately, with Ed Boyles having some motor damage in that previous wreck. But single file here for the top 4 right now. 5 laps to go. High five from Barney there in the flat stand, so this is going to get good.
Yeah, tough to execute that pass on the low line here. Fast line is the line around as Capola able to get a right, well, almost there. It looks like Wortman Jr. on track right now to become the first 3-time winner of the season. He comes across the line to complete lap number 146, now working lap number 47. Capola down underneath the number 5. They're side by side. The 5 gets the surge, and yeah, I just think he's going to get stalled down here. They're going to have to find some magic way to get around the 00.
We saw the 5-car in the same scenario earlier on tonight where he was really trying to, I don't want to use the term dive bomb, but he was really trying to get a good run on the bottom side, and it took him about 10 laps to finally get around the car that he was trying to pass. Kenny Capola doesn't have that kind of time crossing the stripe here. 3 laps to go as they close in, and Tim Wortman Jr., there you can see the lead. It's 3, 4, maybe 5 car lengths, 4 car lengths as they come out of turn number 2 over Chris Spear, and there you can see Wade Palmer the 4th still holding tough, about the same distance back, and Kenny Capola running in the 4th position. He's got fresher tires, but it's only 4 or 5 laps or so it doesn't seem like that Tyrant Militia Camaro has anything left to try and close in on this podium finish.
Yeah, it is possible on that charge trying to come through that he's burned his stuff up even as quickly as a couple laps. And right now, Wortman Jr. looks comfortable just hitting his marks. I'm sure he looks up in the mirror every time he comes off the corner to see where his competition is. has a quiet gap. His spotter's telling him what his lap times are. His Spear is measuring the competition, trying to get all that he can. You couldn't get any closer out of turn number 4 coming off, trying to gain that track position to get to the leader.
White flag, white rag. Last lap here for the Carolina Heat, 2:25. The next flag is going to determine the race. There you can see Chris Spear absolutely driving the wheels off that thing, trying to find some kind of advantage to try and close in on the 0-0 of Tim Wortman. Not going to happen. All Wortman has to do is hold that wheel straight. He's going to cross the stripe, give that win to Tim Wortman Jr. He's going to come home here with the victory. Chris Spear second, Wade Palmer the fourth in third. Kenny Capola is going to come home in the fourth position, and rounding out the top 5, the lead lap cars, the last car on the lead lap, Wade Palmer the fifth. Great run, great win for the 0-0.
So Wortman Jr. started out front, had his struggles all the way through the race, just running back there seconds off of the lead. And then the event that changed everything, the 88 blown motor air on the front straightaway, returns the lead to Wortman, and he was in command and never looked back after getting a second opportunity.
There you can see he's not even going to stop for a photo op. He's not going to let these drivers get to pit road. He's going to burn them down in the grass and jump on up there in the pavement there and burn them down. Great win for the 0-0, and man, who knew? You know, at this point, you thought Ed Boyles Jr. was going to run away with it, and there you can see just circumstance. Really tough to see what is going to happen in these races, and that just shows you that anything can happen here on Venane TV. Anything can happen here in the sim racing world. But there you can see the top 10 on your screen. We already gave it to you. Tim Wortman Jr., Chris Spear, Wade Palmer the fourth, Kenny Capola, Wade Palmer the fifth, rounding out the top 5. Derek Cook gives the sixth position his home. Preston Perrier, a good rebound a little bit. Had some early race frustration. He comes home in the 7th position. Colin Zemer, another good rebound for the 8th position. Sean Stamper in 9th, and David Dothwaite in the 10th position.
Yeah, a couple of these drivers just did a yeoman's job staying out there, getting their track position back when that caution came through and finding themselves in the top 10, maybe a lap or two off the count, but still, you know, they persevered to get themselves the top 10. But out front, Wortman Jr., he's got to be happy to get the victory here tonight. It looked like it was going to slip away, and then opportunity knocked, and he took every advantage to seal the deal.
Absolutely. We caught up with tonight's winner, Tim Wortman Jr., down here in Victory Lane. The 8-ball whiskey flying all over the place. We get some of that in the broadcast booth, right?
I hope so.
Great race here tonight, Tim. Walk us through it.
Yeah, we had a fast car all week. We ran here good last season in the 87s and missed a possible win by about half a lap. And I had this one circled on the schedule for a long time, and hadn't won since you guys had taken over our broadcast. I won the first 2 races of the season and had a bunch of seconds and fourths, and really wanted to get back into the victory lane here before the playoffs started and get some more points under my belt.
Absolutely, and man, we saw the 88 was strong all night long, and we see the fireworks going off here on the backstretch. Pretty cool. I didn't even know they had fireworks here at the north at Charlotte Motor Speedways. That's a cool little shot there on Venane TV. But we saw the mishaps with the 88. It sounded like pit road may have been closed at the time, and he came down, wasn't able to pit until the next lap. What went through your mind at that point?
We were discussing on team radio that, you know, we had came in to take tires and we wondered why he stayed out. But I saw on my screen it said that the pits were open. So he still had his chance to, there wasn't very many cars on the lead lap. He had his chance to still come down and get tires. And I think the worst he would have been was 4th. So, but when you clear a black flag, it still puts you at the end of the longest line. So tough break for him. He definitely was hitting the pits and had a longer car than us.
But handcrafted chocolate whiskey on the quarter panels. I'm gonna have to see if they've got that at the package store tomorrow. That actually sounds pretty darn good. But we're here at the mile and a half. You're already locked into the playoffs. We got Watkins Glen next week. But the big thing that we kind of alluded to earlier on in the show, the championship races at Texas. Very, very similar, but a little bit different to Charlotte Motor Speedway here. Obviously, it came home for the win here. A, if you got anything for Watkins Glen, and B, if you got anything for Texas.
I would say that I'm not very good at Watkins Glen, but I pulled out a second at Coda last week when we ran, and I had no clue what that track looked like the week before we started that race. So I'm going to do some work, and hopefully I think I can pull out a top 5 next week.
Well,
as for Texas, we're going to be working on that one pretty hard. I'm pretty confident that we'll be there and looking strong at the end of the season.
Well, there's nothing better you can do for confidence in winning with 2 races to go before the playoff cutoff here, and multiple wins this season. You had a great run last week at Coda as well, so definitely high on the momentum. Now we got the whiskey on the hood, we got the whiskey on the quarter panel. Who else gets it done for this 00 team? Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack each and every week?
Well, we got to give the big shout out to FATHEADZ for making this broadcast possible and putting their name on the series. They've been great. I need some of their sunglasses myself. I had the raccoon eyes going on that you're talking about. I know we got budget send boxes, and I'm going to miss a whole bunch this week because it's been a long race. But definitely want to give a shout out to 8 Ball. This is an awesome looking car, and Ryan Daly, the graphics designer for Starcom Racing. He really put together an awesome scheme to run. And boy, this car, Team RCR made this car faster than a Raptor this week.
Absolutely. You started first, you finished first. Great run here tonight. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's cool to do this with Kevin England on here. I'm glad that he got to call one of our races.
Absolutely. Kevin's over there too. Kevin's actually caught up with Chris Spear, and he was actually making mention. Tim Wortman, hey, I know that name. So that was pretty cool to have all the different tie-ins and connections here in the sim racing. Kevin and I have been around a long time.
Yeah, the trailer has me blushing. Just heard that through my ear, and now I'm going to turn and put the focus where it belongs. Chris Spear, second place run here tonight. Take us through that last final stint. How did you try to wrestle that lead away and get the win tonight?
Unfortunately, I don't think I had anything for Tim myself. I was giving it all that I could there at the end. I know very clearly where I stand in the playoffs, and I needed that one spot. Tim was just faster on the shorter run. I'd been a little bit quicker than him on the long run by just pit strategy, staying out a little bit longer each pit sequence, so that way I'd be faster on the long runs. It just didn't fall into my play there to be able to pass him. I definitely gave it everything I could, and I know he was trying to prevent it as well as possible.
Yeah, we were watching the pit strategies play out. There were obviously 2 different strategies going on through most of the race, and you were on the alternate strategy, and it had to feel liberating at some points and frustrating at the others. And how did at least the caution felt in a way that put you back in the game, back in the hunt?
Yeah, absolutely. We were. I knew exactly where these guys were going to pit. It was kind of a little bit obvious when they made that first green flag pit stop when people were going to start pitting. And so I knew if I could hold out and try to not lose as much time before I pit, then I could make up on the end of the run. Then I stood a chance if we went long green flag run. I don't think I would have had anything for Ed if it had went green the whole way. Honestly, I don't think any of us would have. He had a pretty substantial lead there, and unfortunate what happened to him.
Yeah, certainly the hard luck award's going to go to that event that occurred. But, on that restart, you were trying to wrestle that lead away from Wortman, but it looked like the top line was the place to be, and down low just couldn't make any ground.
For sure. I mean, one of the big things here was that top groove, and the closer you could get to the wall, I mean, it really was like Homestead. The closer you could get to the wall, the faster you would be. The problem was with my car on the short run, I was a little bit more loose than I would have liked, and I think that played into it a little bit. So I was the first 2 laps there when we went back green. I was actually having to lift in areas that I'm sure that Tim wasn't, and that was part of the issue. I could catch him on the straightaways, but I couldn't get to him in the corner because I was having to let off.
Well, we roll out of Charlotte and go to the road course the next time. Second place finish, not first, but not too shabby. Good way to end the week. And how do you feel about Watkins Glen?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been practicing more at Watkins Glen than I did here tonight.
Well, then we're going to look for you to have a good run. Who gets the job done here for you on that number 7?
Well, first and foremost, we got to thank FATHEADZ Eyewear. They're amazing sponsors to deal with. Love working with them. If you haven't already used the code to get a discount, please do so. It is Showtime, as in Paul Showtime Strickland Jr., and you can go to the website to get a pretty substantial discount. I believe it's like 40%, which is huge. Also, Simnut Racing, Sims, Butt Kicker, Budget Sim Boxes, Harpoon Designs, who actually paints my car and is my personal sponsor. And I also want to thank Marwin Sports. They're a personal sponsor as mine as well. Not just on the car, they are actually my sponsor. There
you go. Well done. Congratulations on the second place finish, and a win's got to be right around the corner as strong as you've run here tonight. Go celebrate, Chris. Good run tonight.
Thanks, Kevin.
So, Paul, second place, Chris Spear, and we can turn down and take a look at our third place finisher, Wade Palmer, the fourth.
Yeah, the best finishing Hendrick Motorsport entry of the night, of the 5 cars in the field. Kind of an up and down night for Hendrick Motorsport. So we saw Ed Boyles Jr. lead and dominate the race, and got an unfortunate pit road deal, and then got caught up in an accident, being put in the back of the pack, and really kind of shook up the rest of the field. But Wade Palmer IV making the absolute best of it, running right around the top 10, top 5 all night long. Great run here, Wade. Talk to us about your race.
Yeah, nice to talk to you guys. Good to be in the top 3 for the first time this year. I've missed a lot of races. I've had some. I got a bad left leg, so the road courses and some of the short tracks are not easy for me. But it was a good run tonight. Got some damage really early on, and really didn't even get a chance to fix it until that caution with 10 laps to go. So once I got the damage, I said, you know what, I'm going to pit different than these guys. And so I stayed out longer than they did. Didn't really make up any time on Ed, but I think I made up some track position and got me to lead a few laps. So that was cool. Get some air time for the Hendrick Motorsports number 5. So that was pretty cool.
And a good run, kind of qualified mid-pack and ran there for a little bit, but definitely worked up towards the front of the pack, and the pit stops were definitely key here throughout the night. A little bit of a rough start, but kind of made up for it, I guess you could say, here towards the end of the race with, I think we had 3, maybe 4 green flag pit stops before the cautions came back out again. So definitely good moves on pit road and good moves on the track. Came home with that, like you said, the first podium finish. First time talking to us here in the broadcast booth here in the top 3 here on Verdane TV. And we've been kind of asking around. We got Watkins Glen next week. We got Texas as a championship race. Just taking a quick peek here. We'll start with the first thing, I guess. What have you got for Watkins Glen next week?
We all lobbied the administrators to reduce the laps from 50 to 40. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if that decision. Like I said, I got a bad left knee, so it's really hard to brake and heavy, and the road course needs that. But, to make the chase, I got to win. So put in some time this week on the road course, get set up down, work with the Hendrick guys. We work well together, preparing for each of these races. As you can see, it's always RCR and Hendrick, the Chevrolets up front. So we just want to keep that going, and hopefully I'll get a win next week, make the playoffs.
Absolutely, and we're definitely rooting for you here. Great run here tonight. Congratulations on the podium finish. We got Nation's Guard there on the car. Who else gets it done for the 5 car to and from the virtual track?
Well, you guys do a great job. A lot of those races I dropped out early, I listened to the broadcast this year. Very entertaining. We appreciate that. Sim Nut Racing, Sims, Butt Kicker, Budget Sim Boxes, Harpoon Design, and FATHEADZ Eyewear, the sponsor of the league. We really appreciate those guys. Like to thank my teammates, and shout out to my dad, who started racing dirt track in the late 50s, did some NASCAR pit crew work, then started building his own modifies and super sprint cars. So I spent every Saturday night, most Sunday afternoons at the dirt track, and that's really where my blood's at. So maybe we can get some dirt track races in next season.
See, that would be pretty cool. We've done some dirt track racing. We got Bristol Dirt as the hot commodity this week and the past couple of weeks, and we like dirt racing here on Verdane TV, so I think we could possibly make that happen. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Ain't nothing better than a 4-wheel sprint car with the wing off on a dirt track. Put a wing on, it's second best.
Ding, 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 ding. I'm ringing the bell.
A great run here tonight for Wade Palmer IV coming home, fastest Hendrick Motorsports car. That 5 car finishing third. Great run here tonight.
Thanks, guys. Y'all be good.
We'll try. Well, Kevin, great run here tonight. Great race here. The Carolina Heat 225 in the books for the Fathead Cup Series. And I'm telling you, anybody out there listening, you got to go over to fatheads.com. You got to use that promo code Showtime. Get yourself 40% off. Monumental savings. And I got a great big Swedish head. And I got to tell you, Kevin, this is the first pair of sunglasses that actually fit perfectly.
It's not the first time I've heard somebody say you have a big head there, Paul.
Yeah.
Size.
We kid because we care,
That's
right?
It's just like mine.
Just taking a look at the upcoming schedule here for Verdane TV, and you can follow along verdane.net/events, get you the full calendar of events throughout the next couple of months here. We're taking a couple nights off. Thursday, actually tomorrow night, we've got a very special edition of Tim's Corner Live. You can check that out over on the Tim's Corner Motorsports page at 7 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, following along with the Maritime Canadian Racing Group. And then Sunday night, starting the week over, once again, Sim Racing Unleashed. And then Monday, Tim's Corner Live, Sim 500 Trans Service Cup Series, doubleheader on Monday, and then back to the doubleheader here on Wednesday nights. The Tim's Corner Motorsports Weekly Racing Series returns to Nashville Fairgrounds, and back here, we've alluded to it a couple of times, Watkins Glen for the Fatheads Cup Series, last race before the playoffs here, and it's going to be something to behold, but a good race here all in all throughout the night. Final thoughts here, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking to run over and talk to Wade about a trick that somebody taught me recently, which was you could change the brake pedal from the brake to the clutch, and a lot of times the spring is softer on that. And if you're running a long race, that might be in the difference between that fatigue factor. So yeah, maybe he'll listen to this and catch that. I would describe this race with one word: dynamic. It certainly started out in one way, and it ended up another way. We had a tragic moment for the 88, unfortunately, the hard luck award, but it was entertaining. When you have one of these races where the strategy just doesn't unfold until the final 10 laps and then a sprint to the finish, I'm in all night long for that. I do like the dirt race in the suggestion, though.
Absolutely. We'll see. Got to get to the end of this season before we start talking about next season, though. So we'll definitely keep that dog-eared here in the playbook. But that's going to wrap it up here tonight. The Carolina Heat 225 in the books for the Fatheads Cup Series here on Wednesday night. For everybody here at Verdane TV, again, I'm Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. Always a pleasure working with Kevin England, a legend here in the sim racing broadcasting community. Great night here tonight. Everybody at Fatheads Cup Series, all the sponsors, partners, fans, and everybody out there watching in the social media world, thank you so much for tuning in here tonight. Catch you guys on the flip side when we do. We're going to be doing it live. Have yourselves a fantastic night.